Hello, how are you all? Let's make this simple dress. It's very simple as you see it. It has elastic in the arms, then the Chinese collar, and some bit of ruffles. So our measurements, bust 36, crossback 15, okay. Bust, you're going to add 8 inches. Then crossback, you're going to add 1 inch. 1 inch. So if it is 15.5, I added 1 inch. Then that is the quarter length. It is from the shoulder, from the neck up to the waistline. I added 2. Then the waistline, I also added 8. Then the length for the short dress, because this is below, is just slightly below the knees. I added 5 inches, or you can add 4 plus. So fold the material according to the measurements you have. So this bust 38, you first remove the neckline, that is 3 inches, then the crossback, that is 8 inches, then marking the inches, the 8, that is 8 as the crossback, just to get that line, the straight line for the arm circumference. You remove 1 inch for the shoulder slantings. Then for the arms area, that is arm circumference, I sloped 10 inches. 10 minus 1, I remained with 9 inches, because the arm that I was looking at was 14 inches. So that is the bust line. I went with 11. You slope down on the hip line, making a straight line. Then when you make a straight line of 11 inches, the 11 inches you got for the bust, then you remove 1 inch. You just remove 1 inch, you curve it inside the waistline. So my arm circumference in the corner there, I went with, for the front part, I went with 1.4 inches. It's 1 point, then you curve it coming inside from the straight line. Then the neck, I sloped 3 inches because I'm going to use the Chinese collar. Chinese collar, where you put it is like where you're going to put your normal collar, the standard collar from. So that is 3 inches sloping down. Okay, we fold the back part, and don't forget to leave the zip allowance. Zip allowance, it depends on the material you have. If you have a small material, you can leave 1 inch, but me, I left 1.5 inches. I normally don't leave big inches for the zip allowance because it disturbs me a lot when I'm putting a zipper on the waistline. It disturbs me, so I always leave 1.5 inches. So just trace it like that. You trace the front part, all of it. Then you get your ruler again and draw those straight lines the way you drew them on the first part, because the back part, it has the back always have a wide back on the cross chest. So you always instead of carving it from inside, this time around for the back we carve it from outside that straight line from the shoulder slantings where they ended. So that line, and the front part I used 1 inch 0.4, but the back part you use like 1.5, 1.8 inches. So this one I used 1.5. That is for the back part. The front part you pass in inside, then the back part you pass besides the line, just slightly the line, or you can even pass onto that line, just straight on the line. Then since I'm going to put a collar, I didn't have to slope down like more inches or like 3, like 4. I just sloped 1 inch on the neck. So on the back part, for the back to sit very well, because the back is shorter than the front. The front has breasts, the back doesn't have. So you slope, you remove 1.5 inches, you make it in a slanting format going to the hip line. The hip line, you don't cut anything from the hip line. It goes slanting like that from the zipper area, from the back, from the zipper area coming to the hip line. You remove 1.5 inches for it to be shorter than the front part. The front part is always long. The reason why you're not removing from the hip line, because the hip line has to match. It has to be the line. That line has to be exactly the same measurements with the front, with the back part and the front part. They have to be equal on the hip line. So you fold it into 2 for the back part. You fold it into 2 to mark where the darts are going to be. For the front part, a nipple, you can measure client nipple to nipple measurements. Sometimes someone who has a bust of 38, 36, nipple to nipple is always, 38 is always 4 inches. Then 36 is 3 inches. You always add that 0.5, the 0.5, the small one. On 4 inches, you add 0.5. On 3 inches, you add 0.5, so that you get good measurements. Then this cutting the arm. Since the arm it has to be with ruffles on the shoulders, I always slope 6 inches. From up, I slope 6 inches. But this time around, it has some ruffles. I want to put some ruffles on the shoulders. So I'll be sloping 8 to 9 inches. I sloped 8 inches. So on the corner, you remove 1.5 so that you get a very good curve. You don't get a sharp curve, just a, it has to be like a round curve. So that is my 8 slope. So that 8, you get it up to the upper part. This material is a stretcher. It has slight stretcher and it is silk. You know how silk is. It is tricky to work on silk. It is always slippery. That's why you see me touching with 2 hands and the material folds. So okay, I made those 3 inches from the angle, from the down part 3 inches and upper part 3 inches. Then I drew that box. In that box you're going to enter the curve like for the arm. The front part, don't consider the back part. The front arm, we entered 1.4. So do the same on the arm. Then that's where you put your curve from. Then this line, you're going to draw it going up. Where, do you remember where we put 1.5 there? So that's where that line is going to curve from. Since I'm going to put elastic down, I'm going to leave it straight. The arm, I made it 9 inches on fold. Those are 2 arms on fold. So even down, I'm going to leave it 9 inches. I'm not going to remove anything. So that's it. That is the front part. So that's how the arm is going to be. It has some ruffles like that. So I've marked where the ruffles are going to start from. So when you measure on the arm, it's going to give you 9 inches. 9 inches there. You see where the 9 inches stop there. So the remaining 1.5, it is going to be the stitch where you're going to stitch from. You're going to stitch like 1.5 up, closing the shoulder slantings and closing the armpits down. That is like 0.5 on 0.5. So these are the bottom measurements. Okay, now this is how you're going to get your full length for the dress. You're going to first remove the upper part measurements. The upper part, let me say from the shoulder slantings up to the waistline, you got 18 plus the bottom parts. If the outfit stops like on 30 inches, so you get your 30 inches minus 18 inches. So those 18 inches, the remaining inches, so that was 22 inches. Was it 22? It was 18. So 18, the first one, you make it like you divide into 2. The first step must be shorter than the long step. Not a must. Me, I made it shorter than the second step. If you want, you can do vice versa. But me, what I did was the first step is shorter than the second step. And another thing, the first step, I made it smaller than the second step. Okay, then the front part, I had forgotten to cut the button stand. Okay, I name it as a button stand. Yes, it is a button stand. You cut, the way you cut the back part, like giving it two sections, that's what you also do to the front part. So you give it also two sections, then you fold the stand, that button stand. You can give it any inches you want. Me, I gave it 1.5 inches. I never wanted it too big since this is an elastic material. It stretches a little bit. So that's it, the button stand for the front part. Then our Chinese collar. Chinese collar, you fold your material into symmetrical. That is symmetrical. So you fold it into symmetrical, then you cut. I made it 2.5 inches. If you want it big, you make 3 inches so that when you stitch from the upper part and the lower part, you remain with 2.5. But I never wanted it big. I wanted it to stop like on 1.5. So that's why I made 2.5. It stopped like on 1.8 there. So this is the sketch work we've done so far. Okay, now start with that. All clothes have steps. This one, the step is start with a button stand. After making the button stands, let's go to the back darts. The behind darts, I made 9 inches. So make sure what you do on this part is the same thing you do to the next part. And another thing on the button stand, since this is an elastic material, it was standing in a funny way, so I had to top stitch it. When you top stitch it, it gives you a good finishing. Then you add the both sides. That way you can add like a shirt, a dress, the button stand. So you add them together, then you stitch them when they are connected. But you have to leave allowance from the upper breast up to the neck side. You leave like 6 inches from the neck to where you close it from. So that is the dart for the front part. I went with 6.5. So both sides you have to put 6.5 equal. The size of dart must be equal. For the front part, they must be equal, and the back part, they must be equal, the same. Then we add up the shoulder slantings for the front part to the back part. Making the hand. When making the hand, I just make these ruffles for pulling. You thread just one line, then you pull. Remember where we marked where the ruffles are going to start from. Then stitching the arm on the shirt on the upper part. Then the neck, there are two, like the two, there are two cloth. You add them together. Don't forget to cut those notches for it to curve very well. You cut the notches. After cutting the notches, you top stitch the notches to the lining side. Any side you've decided to be a lining, you top stitch them going to that side, then you iron. Then after, you can connect it to the shirt. Sorry, I call it a shirt because I mostly make shirts with these Chinese collars. So you add it, you connect it to the dress. Then also the notches, you cut those notches. Make sure you don't cut the thread. When you cut the thread, stitch again. That part, you close it. The front part, remember the front part is kindly open, is somehow open. Then the back part is also open because you have to put a zipper. That is the zipper area and that is the waistline, so they have to connect very well. You make that straight line for the side A and side B, so that when someone is closing the zipper, those lines are just equal. They look so neat. Changing the zipper foot from straight foot to the zipper foot. A zipper foot helps me to make, it simplifies the work of putting a zipper. You just stitch and it feels good. So that is the line I was telling you about. I missed out the video because I'm making simple clips. I missed out the video when I was putting pockets. I don't know how I made it. So I'm putting elastic bands on the hands from inside. Then you put the elastic and fold. When you're putting such a small elastic, even if it's a big elastic, in most cases you don't need to step on the elastic. You don't need to step on the elastic. When you don't step on the elastic, it moves freely and it gives you those beautiful ruffles. Now connecting the bottom part, the second step. The first step, I don't know where I missed. I think my phone misplaced that already. For putting the first step with the pockets. So this is connecting the second part and hemming the downer part of it. So putting my trademark, Buffy Gala, my trademark. Okay, thank you so much guys for bearing with me, my talking, my video. Thank you, love you, bye bye.